Hello. So, January 2024 could have been the best month I've ever had on BookTube. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. Please have a little delve and see if you like other videos, if you do like this video. And please think about subscribing. Massive thanks to those that do support the channel. This is a monthly wrap-up. So, I've been doing these for quite a while now, and I do enjoy doing them because it's nice to look back on what you've done. And this last month has been awesome on the channel as far as my reading's been good. It's been great communication with other people. It's been really cool live streams. I've started a few projects on the channel that has been really rewarding. And it's just, yeah, a really, really nice start to the year. So, because there's so much I've done this month, I'm going to try and rattle through the videos quite quickly because I always go over the videos I've done. And then I'll talk about my reading. So, right at the start of the year, I announced the Doctor Who rediscovery set of videos I'm going to do. So I'm going to be looking into the old classic Doctor Who stuff. So I'll be watching the stories via the BBC iPlayer and talking about them on the channel. And that's been enjoyable. I'm not going to do masses of those. I'll probably do it for about a year and do like one every month kind of thing. Probably that kind of thing. But yeah, I've been enjoying that. Then I did a video which was tips for appreciating life. So it's one of those videos. I do it now and again, and it was just a way of thinking about an approach to life that's very positive and very life affirming and rewarding. So that was a video I wanted to put up. Then I did a live stream with my friend Matt Wingett, who's an author. And he's, I thought it'd be nice to put him up on the channel and do an interview with him because I know there are people that are interested in Arthur Conan Doyle. And he was talking a lot about that and about lots of different authors associated with Portsmouth, where we live. And I thought that was really interesting. So yeah, have a look at that if you haven't seen it, because if you're a fan of Arthur Conan Doyle, or if you're even a fan of people like H.G. Wells and Charles Dickens, you might find that really interesting. So that was a live stream that was really good. And then I did my Historathon 2024 Q1 TBR. So what I was planning to read for this first quarter. And that's been going well. I'll get to the books in a minute. But yeah, so that was a video that was very rewarding to put out. And then I put up my first book review for the month. And it was the first book review of a banned book. So I'm doing the banned book project, which MJ started at Reading This Life. So that was a project called 24 for 24, where we're going to read 24 banned books, and I've been that's actually dominated my reading this month actually, but that's been really good. So that first one was The Wizard of Oz. Can you believe that was banned? But yeah, Frank L. Baum's Wizard of Oz was the first book review I put up for that. Then I put up a video. Sadly, Del Palmer, Kate Bush's bass player, died this month, so I put up a video as a tribute to him and recommended some tracks to listen to. And that's had a lot of views, actually. But yeah, a great musician and a real loss. Then I did a video which was an announcement of my involvement and support for Garb August 2.5, Wasted Weekend, which is going to be happening in this month. And basically, at the end of this month, on the weekend, I think it's the last weekend, we'll be reading some Garb August material. So I haven't decided what. Oh, no, I have decided what, because I asked people to vote for it, and they voted for the Sean Hudson book. So I'll be reading a Sean Hudson book that weekend. So yeah, thanks for getting involved in that. I did that on the community tab and on the comments on the video. And yeah, it won by a mile, actually. So clearly people want reviews of Sean Hudson stuff. So yeah, that'd be good. That'd be the first Sean Hudson book I've read, actually. And then we did the first ever live stream. Me and Dave and Olive, Book Blather, look him up. We're doing a regular show now. Every fortnight we're doing a show on our channels. We're kind of, at the moment, because it's the only way to do it properly, we're alternating between channels. So we did our show called Is This Thing On? So check that out if you haven't seen it. The first episode had Scott, our friend Scott from the Bookish Bryants on, and we've done another one since then as well. So yeah, that was really cool. we did, and then I did a video which was announcing my involvement this month in Filmtastic February. So I'll link the channel below that came up with the idea and her introductory video, which is really cool. And yeah, it's a really cool idea. So books related to films. So I'm going to be definitely reading some of that in February, and I haven't put up my TBR for that yet, but that'll be going up probably after this video. And then I did Clockwork Orange book review. So that was another banned book. So that was the second one in that project, and that was really rewarding to do, actually. I really enjoyed thinking about that book and how to approach the video. Then I did a book haul kind of thing. I talked about Chester Himes because I found a bunch of Chester Himes books really cheap, so that was really good. So, and I kind of used that as an excuse to talk about crime in general, because I'm reading more crime books at the moment. So that was nice to do, and I'll be kind of looking back on that later on in the year and looking at some of the things I've read in crime, I think. Then I did an announcement of a more full-on project I'll be doing personally, which is when I'll be reviewing every single episode of the original Twilight Zone series. So that was based off me buying a Blu-ray set for some Christmas vouchers I had, and I'm going through them one by one and reviewing them with like batches of 6 in each video. So that was really cool, announcing that. So it's a very exciting thing. I'm really loving that. And then there was a bunch of library tour videos. So we were now on the main shelf. So I've done some library tour videos, but now up in my bedroom, there's like my kind of most immediately present. That's not prescient. Immediately important books are up on those shelves, and I went through those. There's 4 videos for those shelves, but 3 have appeared in January, and there's one coming up this month as well. And so that was really nice to look at, because they're the ones I've either just bought, or they're my immediate TBR, or some of them are my favourite books. So it's a kind of mixture of those kind of things. So that was good. I did an update video on my experience with the Read What You Own challenge. It's the 3rd time I've done it, or 3rd time I've done something like that. It wasn't called that the first time. And that was good to do. I did it as a positive thing, and as a response to MJ at Reading This Life. And so it's a different take on it, I thought. So which is why I did it. I thought it was good to do a different take on it. Then I did another one of the new projects, which was the first ever Desert Island Flicks. So that was with Mark from Book Time with Elvis. So that was a really lovely chat. I'm really glad I chose him as the first one. There'll be another one coming soon. And yeah, that was really, really cool. And a few people have said they'd like to do it, which is great. So yeah, just chatting about 10 favourite films. And it was a really good chat. Mark's a lovely guy, so that was really good. And I really wanted to pick him first. Then I did a video that was another response video. And this was, I called it, Is BookTube Worth It? And it was because some people had a little bit of a wobble. So I thought it'd be good to talk about that. And I get it all the time. But I'm still doing it. Still committed. But yeah, I mean, you know, my subs are going up, which is nice. But my views on my videos aren't great. So now and again, something will spike a little bit. But even the spiked ones aren't massive. But, you know, I still keep going because I do enjoy it. And I love the friendships I've made. And then I did another banned book video. And this was also tied with my Ray Bradbury project, because it was the next one I was reading for the Ray Bradbury project as well. And that was The Martian Chronicles. So what amused me about that video I did was after reading it again and doing the video, I looked back on what I'd written on Goodreads. There was a completely different approach to reviewing the book. And it was just really funny that they're so different, and like different people talking about them. So they don't contradict each other necessarily, but they're just looking at it from a different perspective, which is quite funny. So then there was another Resist thing on, and that time that was with MJ at Reading This Life, and that was really great. That was a good laugh, that one. If you want to watch that. We do talk a lot about food on our live streams, got to be said. And then it appeared, the first Twilight Zone deep dive video, the first 6 episodes of the Twilight Zone that I discussed, and that's had a nice response. And yeah, that was really cool. And then I did my top 10 science fiction films. That was a response video to Michael K. Vaughan, and he was responding to Grammaticus Books and Steve Donoghue. So that was cool. And then, yeah, and then there's this. So here we go. That was what I did on the channel. Loads and loads and loads of stuff. So I put a lot of videos up in January, and it's you know, it's been great talking to everybody, and the live streams have been great. So what did I read? So the first book I read, so the first book of 2024 was a hard case crime novel by Lawrence Block called Lucky at Cards. And I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked the characters. Didn't know where the plot was going to go, which is what you want from a crime book. And yeah, I thought it was great. And I really like the way Lawrence Block writes. So I've got a few of his books. So I'm looking forward to reading more. But this was really good. And a nice, another one that I've read in the hard case crime books. I've got about 15 of them. So it's nice that another one was a positive. There's only been one that I've been disappointed with out of those books. But once I've read a few more, I'm going to do a video about those books, that series, what I've read so far. So I'll kind of pick out about 10 and then talk about them. And that would be probably in March time, I reckon, because there's so much going on in February. So yeah, Lucky at Cards was good. I really enjoyed it. Then I read Drawn and Quartered. I just realised there's another book that I read that I've not got from upstairs, so I'll have to mention that with a little picture of it. But anyway, I read this. This was, I'll just keep it in the thing. This was awesome to read. I'm keeping it like this because this is a first edition from 1946. It's in great condition. And I got this for Christmas. It's the first ever Charles Addams collection. So I'm so chuffed. I've got such a lovely version of this, and it's brilliant. I loved it. It's really good, and it's just so awesome that that I've got this original copy of this first book by this awesome man. So there we go. So Drawn and Quartered. Sorry, I said that funny. By Charles Addams. Didn't take me long to read it. Clearly, it's just a cartoonist book, but need to mention it. Then I read The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. So this was the first of the banned books project. So I mentioned that I did a video about that. I had started it. I'd read about 8 pages or something before Christmas, and I didn't really go on from that. And I thought, actually, I'll go back to it for this project because this was banned. And yeah, so really enjoyed it. I love the film, but I love this as well, even though it's different. And I love them both for different reasons. They're very different. But yeah, makes me want to read the others because he wrote loads. Then I read A Clockwork Orange, Anthony Burgess. This was a tougher read. You've got to lock in to the language, but I enjoyed writing a review about it, and I think I had something to say about it. It's a very interesting book, and a very interesting man, I think, as well. So yeah, Clockwork Orange was an important part of this last month. Then I read another Addams Family book, and that was The Groaning Board. So I got that in January, so I didn't get that for Christmas. I got that recently. I found it quite cheap on eBay because you can get it for like 200 quid. But it came up as a good price, so I quickly nabbed it. So I've nearly got all of the original collections. There's a couple I need to get, so that's quite exciting. I'll be very chuffed when I get all of them. Then I read Mikhail Bulgakov's Heart of a Dog. So he's most famous for The Master and Margarita, which I will be reading possibly for the band project, but I definitely will be reading it at some point soon. And this was quite an odd book, it's got to be said. And yeah, there's a video about this coming up in this month's videos. But yeah, it was interesting. And this was banned for 71 years or 74 years. 74 years it was banned in Russia because it's a book that kind of rages against the Soviet Union. So they banned that for political reasons. Then I read The Martian Chronicles. So this was my next Ray Bradbury book, and it fitted into the 24 to 24 banned books project as well. And this particular edition has all of the stories in it, which is quite cool. I've got the Silver Locust as well in 2 different copies of the Silver Locust, which is an alternative title, the UK title for the book. But yeah, classic. Some people's favourite Ray Bradbury book. It's not my favourite Ray Bradbury book, but it's very popular, and really enjoyed it, loved it. So I read that. And then the last thing I read was Finders Keepers by Stephen King. So I read loads this month, and this was the last thing I read that I finished. So there's other things I've been reading, which I'll get to in a second. But this was the last thing I finished, and I really liked it a lot. So this is the second part of the trilogy that he wrote. So the first one was Mr. Mercedes, and there's this one, and then the third one's End of Watch. And I'm watching it, I'm reading it in a group read, which is called All About Holly. And there's a bunch of us, and we do occasional live streams about the books. So you would have seen this one being discussed already on our little corner of BookTube. So yeah, Finders Keepers, really, really good, I thought. So Stephen King did it again. He did it again. So there's that one. And then I have been reading this. So to do with my Winter of Wyndham event. Because I was reading so much, I thought I'd go for a short story book because I might be able to nip into it now and again. And it's good. Well, it's good, but it's definitely weaker than the books. I don't think he's the novels. I don't think he's as good at short fiction as he is with novels. And to be fair, I brought this one down because this is a better book, which is his a book of short stories. This is better. And the one story that's good, Dumb Martian, was actually in that book as well. So that's a bit weird. So yeah, it's good, but not. I wouldn't say. I'd say read the short stories after you've read the books. After you read the novels, keep saying books. After you read the novels, read this book of short stories after you read some of his novels, I think. So yeah, that was for my Winter of Wyndham event, and I'll be finishing that at the start of this month. For the Historathon event, I've been reading The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs, so I've almost finished that. And I've been cracking through SPQR by Mary Beard as well. So I've been doing a lot. I've been much more successful with this one than I was last year, and it's really interesting. It's very. It's read in a very. Mary Beard writes in a very easily accessible way, which I think helps with a book like this. So definitely recommend this book. But I'll say more about it after I finished it. And I did start this book, but I put it on hold for a little bit because I'm concentrating on the other Historathon books. This is more of a general book, but I'm nipping into it now and again. So it will eventually become part of the Historathon thing. But it's not, it goes across a whole bunch of centuries, so it's not the same as like looking at a particular period. But yeah, I am enjoying it, but yeah, I haven't got any further with that one. And a book that I have kind of dipped into, but it's going to be a big book that I think I'm going to love, is this one, God and Anatomy. So this was a book that I discovered thanks to watching a guy whose whole YouTube channel is about his conversion from a deeply religious Christian background to becoming atheist. And he said this was like an important book on the kind of facts behind God, if you like. So yeah, I've only read a little bit of it, but I'm enjoying it. So there's that one as well. So, I also finally opened this, right? So there's been a lot of material on my channel in the last few months about Charles Adams. I thought I went to town with my love for his stuff. I think it's partly because of reading his biography. Excuse me. And I've had this for a long time. 30 postcards of the Addams Family. And it's been sealed all the time I've had it. And I thought, actually, let's just open it. It's really nice. So these 30 postcards. And there's the classic Addams Family images. So I'll just show you a few of them. So yeah, 30 postcards. and there's some of them are quite famous. So if you don't know his stuff, then this might be a nice little introduction in a way. See, Gomez and Morticia are always romantic, and obviously it sort of always flips it a bit. But it's always a romantic relationship, which I think is lovely. So yeah. Look at those kids, they still believe in Santa Claus. Great. I'll just give you a couple more. Well, don't come whining to me. Go tell him you'll poison him right back. And then you've got Pugsley. That's like an ordinary kid doing that. This is quite a cool one. Pugsley's signs. We'll leave it there. So, yeah, really cool. 30 postcards on the Addams Family. Okay, so that's it. That was the month of January. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay curious. See you later. Bye.
Of what it's like to be you.